A really full day, all kinds of things going on, and we are just continuing our coverage, jumping into it. It has been a really active newsroom, as I always give you a look around at all the moving parts, the folks who are continuing to handle things and get us up to the second, really, updates. So we've got a lot going on. We've got breaking news. A police officer has been shot. We're going to update that. Jason is still in Rome, obviously, so we're going to find out what's going on with him in just a second. But as we always do, Taylor and the desk kind of following all the stories and letting us know the things that we're working on. And a lot of moving parts right now this afternoon.
Yes, it's a lot going on right now. Currently, right now, we have an active situation over in Overbrook with an officer. All we know right now is that he was shot in the abdomen. We have, if you can kind of see a little bit over here, we got chopper over the scene, just showing an overhead of just what's been going on. And then we also have a shot down here where we have Steve at the scene as well, who's at the hospital. So just seeing all the officers there, just supporting this person, this officer that's right now in critical condition, just hoping everything works out for him. And then we also have Chris O'Connell, who's also at the scene of where this happened. Again, we don't know more details. All we know that an officer was shot in the stomach near the high school, so this is a pretty active situation going on right now. But
we'll get those updates as soon as reporters are in position. We're going to talk to them shortly. You can see their cameras, but they're literally gathering information as we speak.
But this is what breaking news is. This is what happens on the desk. As soon as we hear anything throughout the scanner, just from emails, texts, anything, we are on call, just making sure we get everything out there, making sure we have all the information for all the producers, reporters to be aware of. So this is just a situation of what it's like when we're going through breaking news up here. So it's a little hectic, but we just know how to just remain calm and just make sure that everything is right for our 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts.
It's a team, guys. All of these folks answering calls, directing the chopper, all of these different things taking place. And then we also, with all of the breaking news, we're going to check in our with our reporters, Jenny Joyce, Jeff Cole, Jen Lee, kind of all over.
All over. We got Jen Lee in Wildwood. We have Jeff Cole in Camden. We have Jenny Joyce in Oxford. We have so many good stories today as well, besides this breaking news situation. But it's going to be a full 5 and 6 o'clock news today.
We will keep everybody informed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate you. Let's move over and check in. So one of the things we have been following all day, giving you things on the stream on Fox Local, and some of it, honestly, we've broken in and done some of that discussion as well on the Fox 29 News, is kind of focusing on Jason and in Rome, obviously. He's been doing updates throughout the morning. There are all sorts of things going on. It keeps tricking me up, Jason, because I keep talking about you're doing updates throughout the morning, but clearly it is evening there, and it's gotten eventful as things start to heat up.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to give you my post-game analysis here. It's a 3-hour voting session from the time they closed the door and began their voting. So the 133 voting cardinals, the electors got together, and it is it has rarely taken that long to come up with smoke. A couple 100,000 people here in St. Peter's Square altogether. We all waited for 3 hours together, and people were getting restless. Here's the interesting part, though. It was very anticlimactic. I mean, there wasn't a big gasp. There wasn't cheering or clapping or groaning. It was just like, okay. And people walked away. And just like that, with a snap of a finger, 100,000 people had cleared out of St. Peter's Square. I think there are going to be people who are really trying to dissect what in the world happened in there. Why did it take 3 hours? Why not an hour and a half, 2 hours? I don't know. A lot of new cardinals, possibly just a new process that was new to everybody. They wanted to be extra thorough. Who knows? It's behind closed doors, and we may never know why it took so long. But what we do know is 2 more votes in the morning. I'll be here on Good Day Philadelphia. It'll be happening during Good Day. But just let's go back in time here to just moments after the black smoke showed up on the chimney. I found a couple of local people, one woman from Philadelphia and another family from where else? Delco. So, where are you from?
Philly.
You what?
Yeah.
Well, that's where we're from, Fox 29.
Yeah, Fox 29.
So what brings you here?
I'm just traveling.
And you just happen to be here for the conclave.
Yeah.
Were you very disappointed in the black smoke?
Yes. We were like, okay, so the Italian lady behind us, and she was like, we were sitting down like at the front of this barricade, and she goes, I'm just listening to Italian like news, and it seems like they're all speculating about why it's taking so long, and she's like, it's never been this long in the history of the story, is what she said.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, because I don't know enough about the history of the story. So she's like, well, it's probably possible, it's a possibility that it's going to be white smoke. And I'm like, oh my God, my new friend here like had the same idea. And so I'm like, we're like, okay, maybe it's going to be white smoke. It's 2 hours later, and then
then black smoke.
And we were like actually dying standing there. I've been here since I've been in Vatican City for 13 hours. So it's just been such a long day.
Will you come back tomorrow for another round?
I don't know.
I think I am.
You think you will?
I'm coming back because
Certainly exciting, right?
yeah, it is. So many
Yeah.
people here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You'll remember. So wait, how did you guys meet?
We just met in the same place. Like we were by chance. Yeah.
All right, conclave friends.
That's right.
Delco in the house. I knew I'd find Delco people. Delco.
escape us.
I know. So what did you expect to see white smoke? Are you surprised? How are you feeling?
I have to admit, I actually had high hopes for white smoke tonight, but everyone was around us saying that it was going to be black. But it was just an amazing experience to be here and to be able to see it in person.
Dad, will you be back tomorrow?
Yes, we're coming back tomorrow. We have a Coliseum tour, and afterwards we're going to come back at night.
And Mom, are you? How are you feeling? I mean, just to be a part of this history.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, we planned this trip months ago, having no idea that we'd be here for a conclave, and just feel so thankful and blessed that we can be a part of history.
So that's a family from Broomall. It was great to meet them and just on the fly, spur of the moment, Delco in the house here in the middle of St. Peter's Square. So just to give you, now let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a big day. Tomorrow we could have a pope. Tomorrow morning from 5 to 7, which is during Good Day Philadelphia, we will be waiting along with the hundreds of thousands of people here to see if we will see smoke. Now, there are 2 votes in the morning, but we won't see vote, smoke, vote, smoke. It's going to be 2 votes, then smoke. So we won't know which vote did it, but if that produces black smoke in the morning, we'll do the evening smoke, and that'll happen probably around noon Eastern time as well. So 5 a.m. and noon are the kind of the times to really start tuning in. And of course, we'll be here on Fox Local. We'll be there on television as well. Tomorrow could be a day, because if you look back to Pope Francis and Pope Benedict XVI, it was about 24 to 48 hours. So tomorrow could be a real test. And we'll see if it's a 3-hour wait again.
Jason, do you think that, because we were watching you and kind of following the process and seeing like hundreds of thousands of people there with you, and then you said it was anticlimactic, do you think that people just kind of expected that today wasn't
Lost
going
IFB.
to be the day?
Sorry, I don't know. I can't hear you talking to me, Bill.
All right, so it sounds like we may have lost the feed, had a little bit of a challenge. All right, are we hearing each other, Jason?
I can hear now. I got you now. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if
So
you
as I was
listening, you
saying,
heard me,
and
but I got you.
No, I heard your entire explanation and report, but there were hundreds of thousands of people who were there. So obviously the excitement was there, but you said anticlimactic. Do you think people just expected that today wasn't going to be the day?
Yes. 100%. I think 99.9% of the people expected black smoke. You'd have to go back in history and look to see if a pope was ever elected with the very first vote, but it hasn't happened in hundreds of years. So that is the case. They expected it. They were still waiting. They were still waiting to see it. But tomorrow comes the reality where on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th vote, because by tomorrow night there will have been 5 votes, we could realistically have a pope right on that balcony tomorrow night.
It was challenging. I'm going to let you go, but just a couple more quick ones. It was challenging at some points because there were so many people there that the signal gets a little sketchy. Everybody competing, for bandwidth and what have you. So now that we've got the clear signal, we're kind of getting a clear look. Tell us what that was like to have, 100,000 plus all kind of descend upon the area.
I've been telling people it's Times Square, Vatican edition. It's shoulder to shoulder. People are still here, as a matter of fact. Let's just kind of show you around. You got a lot of people just kind of lingering, and it's it's like it was last night. These people getting out of the way. Mishmash of, hi folks, how are you? Good? Yes, yeah. Maybe tomorrow, right? Mañana. Mañana, papa, mañana, sí. So yeah, it's just kind of a chill vibe. People are having a late dinner because they skipped dinner because they've been standing here waiting for a pope. And so now they're having a late dinner here in Italy, in Rome. So tomorrow morning, we'll see you on Good Day, and we'll see you, hey, tomorrow morning we could have a pope. So get your rest, wake up with us, have your coffee, and let's see what happens here at St. Peter's Basilica.
Jason, you're just showing off, man. How many app hours did you spend trying to master a couple languages before you went away?
Was that, did I just show off a little bit? Ciao! Grazie. That's the extent of my Italian.
Jason,
I know a few curse words, but yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. We have enjoyed the interaction. We continue to follow you step by step, and we'll check in with you again in the 5.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Guys, it's been really, honestly, pretty cool kind of seeing the process step by step, seeing the people all coming together, seeing the energy, just all kind of in real time. And I think the cool part about Behind the News, and we keep talking about this, is literally behind the news. So the things that you won't see anywhere else, people's real-time reactions, seeing the areas where it's taking place, from moment to moment, watching the smokestack to kind of see what's actually going to happen, and immediate energy and response. It's been pretty cool. And so we will continue to be there with you. I encourage everybody to download the Fox Local app. If you don't have it already, this is the type of information that you're only going to get real time. Take us with you. Put your phone in your pocket or your tablet or whatever so that the second something happens, you get the information. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to start checking in with some of our reporters locally who are dealing with a lot of stories here closer to home. I'm Bill Anderson. This is Fox 29 Behind the News.
destruction.
Fox 29 Behind the News. I'm Bill Anderson. Moved downstairs into the interview room here on Fox Local. And one of the things that we were telling you as we got started, just as we were coming to air, we were getting information about a police officer shot over by Overbrook High School. Our Chris O'Connell was immediately out the door to try to get some information. He is there now. Chris, what do we know?
Well, we do know a police officer has been shot in an incident here outside of Overbrook High School. Bill, everything I tell you is by observation and by what I've been told. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but I can tell you a 19th District police officer was shot here. I don't know exactly what time, about an hour and a half ago, right outside of Overbrook High School. We understand, we're not sure of his condition, but we do know we believe he was shot in the stomach, and he's at Presbyterian Hospital right now. I am outside of Overbrook High School. What I can tell you, this started as an altercation, and I can tell you that because I've seen video of this altercation that happened on the corner of, I believe it's 59th and Oxford. And that altercation was a fight between two people, and it was pretty much chaos. Police were already involved when this video started, and then you heard one gunshot. As you can imagine, chaos continued. We saw that video of someone being arrested and being taken into custody. That is what I saw from the video. It was a very chaotic scene. We're not sure if it involved anyone from Overbrook High School, although it did happen as students were getting out. You could see I'm right outside of Overbrook High School right now. I'm at the police lines right here. I can tell you that video that I looked at, and I just tweeted a little bit of that video. I think I tweeted about 15 seconds of about a 2.5-minute video. The person that gave me that video, police were very interested, obviously, in that video. Once the police gave us, once that eyewitness gave us that video, police were very interested in that and tried to get that video from that eyewitness. Well, now that eyewitness has been arrested, is in a police car behind me. We're not sure if they weren't giving up that video to police, but that person is in a police car right now, was just taken away in handcuffs about 10 seconds before I went on live with you. So right now, a person is in custody. A police officer is in the hospital. That is really all we know right now, other than it started as a confrontation between two people that was, by most accounts, an after-school fight. Don't know who was involved. Not sure if it involved anyone from the school other than it happened outside the school. We can tell you Superintendent Tony Watlington has just arrived on scene. He is inside of Overbrook High right now, getting most likely a briefing. Philadelphia police officers and high-ranking police officers are on scene, as well as over Presbyterian Hospital, where our colleague Steve Keeley is keeping an eye on condition. We may even get an official update from the hospital, which I believe is actually going to happen. So that's the scene from here. You may be hearing helicopters above, but Overbrook High School right now, basically, all scenes around it shut down as we continue to follow the shooting of the 19th District Philadelphia police officer. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with him and the whole department, Bill.
Chris, we appreciate it. As people may or may not know, that when this happens, it kind of becomes immediately trying to get more information, but sitting there and waiting as police officers secure the scene, and they're still trying to gather information. So we'll just wait for your updates coming up in the news a little bit later on.
We'll see you at 5 to 6. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us. It is. So, guys, as I pointed out, there is a lot going on around the area. We're going to move around from reporter to reporter, but this has been that kind of day. And it is an interesting, perhaps timely segue to go from Chris O'Connell, who is there addressing a story of violence and altercation that happened outside of Overbrook High School, police officer being shot, to Jeff Cole, who today was over kind of further exploring some of the anti-violence funding and some of the challenges that we're facing as communities. Hey, Jeff.
Hey there, Bill. I'm sorry. Update me real quickly. The officer was shot. Tell me about seriously injured. Do we know in the hospital? I'm just for a quick update.
What we know right now is that the officer was shot in the stomach. It apparently was below the vest. Chris O'Connell had a little bit of a video that was given to him by somebody on the scene. That person has now been taken in by police because they wanted more information about the video and the person who shot it. We know that the police officer is currently doing okay. Like, we don't know the status. Steve Keeley is over at the hospital trying to get that information, but it's been a little over an hour and a half. So all of this is still happening. And Chris was at a very active scene at Overbrook where just the entire area is shut down.
Got it. Yeah, very good. So I'm in Camden. And here in Camden, they argue that they have had a significant drop in homicides and shootings. And that they argue that their crime rate here is at about a 55-year low. And they put some of that on the efforts of a group called Cure for Camden. And they're part of a larger community program that's funded. Part of their program is funded with $3 million, a $3 million federal grant from the Justice Department. And generally what they do is they're sort of violence interveners. I mean, you've seen this sort of approach where they take folks who, many of whom have grown up in Camden, speak maybe Spanish, know the neighborhoods, and go in and work the neighborhoods, try to get a feel for what's going on, and intervene in potential violence. And in doing so, they often will bring volunteers, people who want to get some help, into their office space and try to work with them in terms of maybe some drug counseling, some medical care, working on resumes, job skills, doing what they can to keep people from hurting each other, or getting guns and hurting each other. So it's a $3 million federal grant. It's obviously, not a lot of money considering the size of the federal budget. But as we know, Donald Trump's administration has been aggressively attempting to cut federal spending. And this is what happened here. On April 22nd, the folks in this program received an email, which we have and we will put in our report, where it says that this federal grant money no longer effectuates, in essence, the department's priorities, and that money has been ended. They're going to appeal, and they're going to try to fight it. But they had a press conference today here with the mayor of Camden, the leader of the county board of commissioners, a woman who runs the program. And then they marched around the streets of sort of downtown Camden here in a demonstration to cut, in opposition to this budget cut. I did speak to a woman named Maria Hernandez. She's 42 years old. She's worked in this program for 9 years. She grew up in the city of Camden. She is a violence intervener. She goes into the Centerville section of Camden, a particularly difficult neighborhood here, she says, and tries to learn what's going on in the streets and gets in the way from what she thinks will be beefs and tries to help some folks out. She says she believes she's done good work and it's helped to reduce crime in this city. She knows from which she speaks. Some 12 years ago, the 32-year-old father of her daughter was shot to death in front of her home in Centerville, and believes that provides her not only with true sorrow and loss, but also a sense of the kind of violence that can occur. And she believes that she can speak on the level of folks who might perpetrate violence because she's experienced some in her own life. It's the cut again is just under $3 million. They think it's penny wise and pound foolish. They think it's worked, and they think that it can be documented with lowering crime here. So this is yet another community that believes it's taking an unfair hit with their federal budget funding and want to find a way to fight back.
Jeff, it's always interesting, and you've been covering these stories for a while. And in Philadelphia, this kind of anti-violence money always comes under scrutiny. I don't know how much so in Camden, it's smaller, and it sounds like the community groups are speaking to the effectiveness. But it sounds like in this case, it is the actual community saying, please don't take this money away. Whereas in some circumstances in Philly, it's the community questioning if the right groups are getting the money.
Yeah, this looks to be the groups themselves who believe that they have an effective program. And you're right, it's a much smaller kind of budgeting process out here in a much smaller city, but they're arguing that they're effective and have put up people who are actually involved in the program to try to take a shot at it. I mean, you know, these are sort of common themes now we're hearing about the Trump administration. Obviously, we know about the budget cutting, and a lot of that, let's face it, has been challenged in court and has been walked back by the courts. You know, emailed the Justice Department seeking some kind of comment, did not, windy out here, did not get an immediate comment, but did ask the advocacy organizations to actually give me the email that they received from the Justice Department, because often you can glean information from that. And there was interesting stuff there. Not only do they say that, hey, this doesn't effectuate our priorities any longer, they name their priorities, which they say are protecting American children, protecting people involved in being sexually trafficked or human trafficking. So those are some of the issues that the Justice Department now says it wants to fund with its grant funding program. Of course, the advocates here say, well, listen, what we're doing does just that. Right. You know, it protects kids because it stops violence. It gets in the way of trafficking because we're in touch with people. We do peer counseling. We do job work and that sort of stuff. So they sort of don't buy the Justice Department's argument, but that's what they're getting in an email that they received on April 22nd, along with a lot of others, simply saying your funding is done.
I mean, obviously, it can be subjective as to whether or not something is effective. Those are interesting priorities to cut at a time where cities like this absolutely need that level of support.
Yeah, that's certainly the argument that you're going to hear here. This was a pretty savvy approach. You know, they did a press conference and then they went to the street and gave us some pictures and sound. And that obviously makes for a more compelling story, which we'll tell at 5 and 6 and 10 o'clock tonight.
We will see you then. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
You take care. Our Jeff Cole, he follows that very closely, and we will continue to keep you informed about what is happening with those types of stories. Anti-violence funding in Camden, but really across the country, is taking hits as the federal government tries to establish priorities. I'm Bill Anderson. This is Fox 29 Behind the News on Fox Local. Download the app. As you can see, we are taking you with us, following all of the stories, getting a deeper dive into information on the scene, live feeds, everything that you can get and take with you on your smartphone, tablet, or your smart TV. Let's take a break, come back. We will check in with more reporters in just a minute. 2 minutes. Stay tuned. Fox 29 Behind the News on Fox Local. Maybe you're watching on our webpage, fox29.com, our YouTube page, our social media, as long as you're watching. But I encourage you to download the Fox Local app. It's the easiest way, the best way, the most convenient way to take us with you. Next up, excuse me, is our Jen Lee, who is discussing and covering, she's down the shore. One of the things that was a talker in our morning news meeting. So,
oh yes,
the tram car down in Wildwood is now a pickup truck?
Yeah. Well, you know how passionate people are about anything down the shore, especially when it comes to something that is full of nostalgia for families. And one of them is definitely the iconic Wildwood sightseer tram cars. And in this case, you know, there have been some social media posts and maybe a couple articles that were out there that we saw that talked about hybrid pickup trucks, Ford Mavericks, that are going to be the engine to pull the cars down the Wildwood boardwalk. And, you know, once we got into town and on the boardwalk, we started talking to people, and they certainly had that belief that, oh, they're all being replaced. The engines will be replaced with hybrid trucks. Well, we talked to the executive director of the Business Improvement District here for the Wildwoods Boardwalk. He said, no, that's not what's happening. He said there is one hybrid pickup truck. And yes, we saw it today. It's totally like iconic yellow and outfitted with like the sightseer logos saying $5 a ride. So he said there is one, and it is being tested out this season. And he said the way that it's going to be used is as a service vehicle in case one of the historic tram cars or engines breaks down, because it happens, he says. And he said it's also going to be tested as a power unit. There's some videos floating online out there of the hybrid truck also pulling cars down the boardwalk. And he basically said they're always trying to find ways to make the tram cars, you know, not just a thing of the past, but a thing of the future. So he was talking about numbers in this case. This hybrid Ford pickup is about $35,000 to $38,000. And he said if they were to try and replicate and build a fully electric tram that looks like the old ones, the engine alone, he said, is $200,000.
What?
So it's a huge difference. And, you know, some of these tram engines, I think, date back to the late 30s. So, you know, sometimes the pieces don't really exist anymore. And it's very difficult to try and, you know, figure out different ways for, I'm sure, like, you know, their mechanics, you know, testing other little pieces and parts out to see if it would work. But he said, you know, it's being tested and no decisions have been made yet, but people are going to see them on the boardwalk.
All right. So he basically said collectively to everyone and to our news meeting, relax. Like, we're not just coming in with a bunch of pickup trucks. We're trying to innovate, save some money, have a backup plan, but you're still going to have your historic tram cars, at least for now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, you know, from a financial standpoint, it's very interesting because the Business Improvement District is run by the property owners of businesses along the Wildwoods Boardwalk. Okay. So this is a nonprofit group. They don't make money off of this. In fact, when it was owned by a previous company for profit, they realized it wasn't a viable business option. So that's when the nonprofit took it over, and they actually pay Wildwood $150,000, I think, a year to operate on the boardwalk. So it has to be self-sustainable, and I think this is why you'll see, you know, different ways they're trying to add modern technology to continue the legacy of the tram cars. But he says the historic engines are not going anywhere. You're still going to see all of the ones that currently exist. I think he said there are 8 of them.
Okay. Leave it to Jen Lee to find the positive spin to enjoy everything that's happening on this at a beautiful day down the shore. Jen, we will see you and the trucks in your story in the 5.
Yes, totally.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Hey, bye.
Our Jen Lee got arguably the plum assignment today. She got sent down the shore to check this out. Guys, people were losing their minds. When the reports start to come out that they're going to do something to the tram. What are you doing to our tram? It's historic. Can't mess around with it. People were going, what? It turns out that is not actually the case. They're tweaking, like they're innovating. They're trying to make things a little bit better. I'm Bill Anderson. This is Fox 29 Behind the News. Going to head back upstairs, check in with sports, see what's going on. Our Kathy Orr is out and about. There's like dinner under the stars. So we don't have what's for dinner tonight, but we do have options for you to go ahead and eat, where you can go and check it out. So let's take a quick break, head upstairs, and find out what's going on with sports. I'm Bill Anderson. This is Behind the News. Fox 29 Behind the News. Made our way over to sports.
Hello.
Sports anchor Breland
You've been
Moore.
super busy.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
And when there's a lot going on, behind the news actually kind of becomes the news, like seeing all the things that are happening.
Yeah, how we're preparing to cover it.
It's crazy. Time's shooting by and we're getting all the stories.
Yeah.
Some things going on in sports.
Yeah, a little bit. Where do you want to start? I can give you a pick. We've got golf, we've got Eagles, Phillies, and we've got the Union.
I feel like we start Eagles because it's an Eagles town.
Okay, so Dallas Goedert, despite him being the subject of a lot of trade rumors, and a lot of the pre-draft talk was, what do you look for in a tight end?
Right.
Well, they're not looking for a tight end because they're keeping Dallas Goedert around. They restructured that contract. So originally he was set to be paid $14 million this season, north of $14 million. With the restructuring, some people have to take L's at this point when you have a super team, if you will, and you give out contracts and extensions and things like that to guys like Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and et cetera, et cetera. Something's got to give, right? And so Dallas Goedert agreed to restructure his contract. Now he gets $10 million, but he also has a window there where he can earn about $1 million in incentives throughout the season. So it's not terrible. And a lot of guys do. Yeah, I mean, I would
take that out.
I would
any
take
day.
$10 million for sure.
Right?
But
y'all want to restructure Fox?
Also, a lot of guys do that. You hear Marcus
Listen,
chuckling
Marcus
back
knows
there?
too. Marcus is like, let's restructure my contract.
But a lot of guys will take that pay cut. You see that actually happen a lot when it comes to teams like the Chiefs as well, because they want to stay here. They like the dynamic and they like to win. So, $4 million in the grand scheme of an NFL player's career is
No, when you've already got 40.
right. Exactly. Like he's just fine. So he's sticking around despite the fact that he was a little bit in the trade rumor mill.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And good for Howie.
I like Dallas.
You made the move. There was no other than money. And I
Mhm.
think Howie's really good at getting in front of that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't kind of change the societal impression, which like, that
Mhm.
guy's not worth all that money.
Right.
You restructure, get in front of it, keep the talent, and keep it in a way that the community's happy.
Yeah, and look, when it was coming up and the trade rumor was there, I had always said, personally, I love Dallas Goedert. I think he's really, really great guy. On the field, I really didn't care either way. If he stuck around, I always think he's an ad when he's healthy. The problem is he's
When he's
not
healthy.
healthy very often. There's always one or two things throughout the course of a season. And Grant Calcaterra really, really, really showed out last year and stepped up into that role and did a phenomenal job in Dallas's absence. So on the field, I was like, well, if they can find a way to keep him, great. I'm not going to be devastated if they have to let him go. But I'm happy that he is able, I think he can add a lot.
He's an asset.
Absolutely.
Right.
It was just one of those that's like, I understand if
Right.
he
Can't
has
pay
to
everybody.
go. Yeah, but I'm glad they were able to come to that conclusion. And, I think he's an ad, like I said, he's a great guy, and I think he's an ad not just on the field, but off the field as well in terms of leadership.
Yes. Want Dallas Goedert to stay.
Yeah.
Phillies.
Yeah, so did you see last night's game? 8-4.
In the high school stadium?
Yeah, in the Little League Stadium. How about Alec Boehm? So he has not hit a home run since September of last year, and he finally got that monkey off his back last night as they won last night against Tampa Bay. They're going again today. Christopher Sanchez is slated to be on the mound, and that is 7:05. So looking for their fourth series in a row.
Go
victory.
Phils. Union.
Union are beginning the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup play. That takes place in the middle of MLS regular season schedule. So remember, they just played Montreal last weekend. They play Columbus this weekend. But in between, they're going to have some of these games. So this is the opening round of 32. They play Indy 11 tonight. That game kicks off at 7:30. And, yeah, it's just kind of a really cool tradition. Something I didn't know is Quinn and Cabin Sullivan, who are on the current Union, their grandpa played in this back in his playing career days. So that's really cool, and it's a really neat soccer tradition that we have here. And so, yeah,
Cabin,
tune
the
in.
kid who's like 7?
Yeah.
Right?
He's not 7,
He's
but
the kid
he's
who's
close.
still playing Pee Wee soccer, but doing it on a
he's
professional
15.
level.
Yeah.
Dude, like, I'm a hater. I'm jealous. Like, do your thing. But the dude can't even drive to the games.
Yeah.
But he's out there playing for the Union. That's my dude right there.
Yeah.
And then finally, we were live, actually, on Fox Local at the
Truist?
Truist.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to have that in our area.
I love the PGA, and I said yesterday on the Fantastic Sports Show, if you're not even a golf person, I think it's worth, if you're able to go, I think it's worth going to, because it's not even about the golf, it's the spectacle of the golf. So have you ever been to any sort of PGA event, Bill?
I feel like a friend had a party who lived on a golf course, like somewhere out here in the suburbs.
Okay, yeah, but like inside.
No, I was at the party.
Okay, yeah.
It was like the 16th hole.
When you're ticketed and you are able to go inside, there's like a whole constructed village, basically. And there's all sorts of things. Like, I remember I covered the PGA Championship in Rochester, New York at Oak Hill Country Club. And I went as a fan to the regular PGA Championship, not the senior PGA, but the regular PGA Championship when it was held at Oak Hill a couple of years ago. And they had these constructed these tents. And it's not just like your merch and things like that. Like, you'll have a Tito's tent where they're selling or giving you like limited edition cocktails and stuff that you can only get at the PGA. There's all sorts of different demos. So KitchenAid was a sponsor of one of them one time, and I remember they had different chefs coming in and making all sorts of things, and you could taste them, and it was all sorts of cool things. The food rocks. I mean, you can get your traditional
Solid endorsement.
fair, but
go.
there's all sorts of fun things you can do.
Maybe I will go.
Yeah, and I think it's a really great time. Even if you're not, like I said, you're not a golf person, you don't really have to watch the golf. Go for the spectacle because it's it's not a once in a lifetime thing, but it's once in a very rare opportunity.
I'm going.
You should go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You going?
Opening rounds tomorrow. So I have a bachelorette party. Full disclosure. But
I'm going to go represent Braylon.
and which was
Appreciate
planned
it.
well in advance, and I can't get out of it because it's my best friend, and I planned the whole
Gotta
thing.
do it.
So
Gotta do it. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have fun, Bill.
Dude's like 7. Kevin, the soccer
He is
player.
15 or 16.
He's like 7.
Yeah. Which
Appreciate you. OG Triple, always a pleasure. Marcus, Sports Peeps, appreciate y'all. Thanks, Breland. All right, let's take a break. Fox 29 Behind the News. So this week, we are not doing our weekly segment of What's for Dinner. But what we can do for you is go check out Kathy Orr, who is out and about one of the places where there actually is a What's for Dinner. So let's take a break. We will be right back. Kathy Orr up next, dining under the stars. Stay tuned. Fox 29 Behind the News. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bill Anderson as we continue to make our way around to check in with all of the folks, our reporters, our teams that are out and about. Now, one of the things that I was sharing with you is the fact that we are not this week doing our What's for Dinner segment. But what we can do is take you out to our people, our folks who are out and about doing their thing. So our Kathy Orr is out and about and ready to take us on a little bit of a journey. Be careful, Kathy, there's a truck behind you.
Ah!
So as you can hear and now see, so I'm looking out for my people. Kathy Orr is my people, and there's a big truck coming up from behind her. But Kathy, we're not doing What's for Dinner this week, which I guess is okay because they can just come catch up with you.
Yeah, it's going to be What's for Dinner at the first Dining Under the Stars in Media, Delaware County for the year 2025. And this is the 12th year, if I'm not mistaken. It began in 2011. And we're getting ready. So at 5 o'clock, they're going to blow a horn. And everybody knows, get the tables out. And look, if you park on State Street, it's not a good idea, Bill.
Whoa.
But there goes a car. Yeah. you will be towed. We watched one gentleman race out of a restaurant and say to the police officer, no, don't take my car, because everybody knows at 4 o'clock on Wednesdays in the summer, you got to clear State Street because the party is coming to the street. All the tables are going to be set out as soon as that horn blows. And I have a friend of mine. Come on over here. This is Vince D'Amico.
How you doing?
I'm good, from Off the Rails. And he's also part of the Media Business Association. So just tell us a little bit about how long it's been and exactly what's going to happen tonight.
So, the weather's beautiful tonight. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Tonight, we're getting ready. This is the 18th season of Down the Stars. Really excited to kick it off tonight. We have Delta Chips here, some live music, and probably about 24 restaurants will be setting their out in the street, all City Street.
So it begins down here.
Yep.
Okay. And how many restaurants?
Probably over 24 restaurants. Setting up. We also have a couple on the cross streets here besides State Street, and should be a good time.
Wow. So there you have it, Phil. I hope you heard Vince, because I know he doesn't
Yeah,
have
we
a
could hear him.
microphone,
Little trouble with his mic. So it's just a party. You just come out, hang out. You can try all the restaurants. They all do specials. Just a good time to kind of walk the street.
Yeah, you know what? This year they're going to have almost like a parade with like musicians coming down the street and different groups coming down the street to offer different types of entertainment. I mean, right here you can see Kenny's Floral Shop. They even pull all their stuff outside. So you can do a little shopping, you can do some dining. And when you join us on Fox 29 News at 5 and 6, we'll be live. And it is amazing how quickly it goes from empty streets to a party just like that. And with it being so warm, I think a lot of people are going to come out. I remember one year I was here going live and we had to go into a restaurant because it was so cold and so rainy, but definitely not the case. So everybody's really excited. They go right through September, every single Thursday on State Street here in Media. And if it's a warm season, they'll push it through October, which they did last year.
All right, so I'm going to be done at 5. You buying? And where are we going?
I'm buying. We're going to start at Sligo, the Irish pub, and then we're going to go see Vince at Off the Rail, and then we're going to go to Stevens, and we're going to make our way all the way down the street to Spazo. How's that sound?
I'm on board. This sounds good. We're going to use the company credit card?
I guess. Yeah, at the boss.
All right.
Yeah, at the boss, if we can do that.
Okay. I thought you had the expense account. All right.
I thought you did.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Or does Jason Martinez have that in Rome?
Yeah, Jason's probably using the expense account all up right now. But that's all right. They got specials. We can figure out where we're going to go. All right, and so we'll see more from you in the 5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We'll be on rooftops. We'll be talking to all the people that make it a family affair. I mean, the neighborhoods come together and they just call their friends and say, let's check it out. A lot of times they have classic cars on the north end of the street and just have them out for people to see. So it's a great sense of community, Bill. And, you know, I live in Jersey now, but I really miss Delaware County, Chester County, Montco, because this is just such a great event to come to and be so close. A lot of people just walk from their house. So it's great to get outside and be with friends and family.
I love it. Great food, and you might get a chance to meet Kathy Orr. It's a perfect evening.
What a night.
Thanks, Kathy. We'll see you in the 5. You take care. Kathy Orr is out and about. So if we're not doing our What's for Dinner, go on and take a walk on State Street. Multiple restaurants are there and available. You'll get to meet folks. You can try out new restaurants. You can support the small businesses in the area. It's all a win. Guys, the program is shooting by today as we get you ready for the Fox 29 News at 5 and 6. And we're just giving you a little bit of the prep work. We're showing you everything our reporters are working on. We've gotten you the update from Rome with Jason, but he will be back. We are continuing to gather information on the police officer shot outside of Overbrook High School, and so much more. So stay with us through 5 o'clock, but basically stay with us, ... period, because all the information is coming to you. One more break as I make my way upstairs, then we'll find out what's going on with entertainment news, trending news, and so much more. Cam's Corner up next in 2 minutes on Fox 29 Behind the News. Fox 29 Behind the News. What's going on in entertainment, trending news, social media trends, gossip, you name it.
All the things.
It's time for
Cam's Corner.
It's the Michael Jackson today.
Okay, I'll take it. That's all right.
No, we're good. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. There's a lot going on, as we know. If you've already been watching Behind the News, you know. But I want to get you guys caught up on the Diddy trial. We are at day 3 today. And the big question is, where is victim number 3? Nobody can get in touch with victim number 3.
Victim number 3 was like,
Yeah. Apparently she is not living near New York City. She's out of town, and they're not sure if she's even going to show up. The judge is basically saying she got subpoenaed, but they still don't know if she's going to show up. The judge is basically saying y'all need to get her and get in contact with her, or else you'll have to kind of give over whatever they were planning on using victim 3's story for the case. So that is like the big thing. Where is victim 3? We're still trying to figure that out. But there has been like new developments in the juror selection. We've now got 6 women and 5 men who were given the green light. So they've gone from 50 candidates down to 45 candidates. And they will have to do the 12 candidates and then I think 6 alternates. So they've reviewed 22 candidates in total. Their age bracket ranges from mid-20s to early 70s, so a good age range there. Okay. And one juror is working as a graphic designer, and another is in administration at the Counterterrorism Office of the United Nations. So we're just learning a little bit more about who those jurors are. Of course, we won't know who they are, their identities, but we're knowing a little bit about their professions.
Well, but it's also interesting because they're not sequestered. So they get to go home every night. And I heard today that there were a couple who got booted from consideration because they are already talking about the case with their loved ones that they were not supposed to discuss it.
See,
the judge was like, you didn't understand the instructions?
Right. You got to go in every single day. They give you the same.
Day 1.
They give you the same thing, the same rundown.
Already. The judge was like, have you been talking about this case? Like, yeah. I just told you yesterday you can't do that.
Yeah.
That was somebody who got selected for jury duty. I was like,
yeah, no, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
They said 2 months? Figure it out. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to talk about this.
Yeah, like, come on.
Crazy.
There will not be anyone court session tomorrow. However, they will return May 9th, and that is when they are supposed to have the jury selected. So we will see what happens then. And then I think next week, Monday and Tuesday, is when the witnesses will come out and start doing their thing. So hopefully victim number 3 will be found by Monday or Tuesday of next week.
We shall see.
Also, Smokey Robinson.
How old is Smokey?
Legend.
Gotta be 80-something, right?
81, I think.
Yeah.
He's 80 up there.
He's 80. He's 80 up there.
Because we did a segment on BAM talking about his new album was like Songgasm or something like that.
Yes, I remember that.
We were like, how you gonna be 80-something putting out albums called Songgasm?
Orgasms and songs. Right. So basically, he and his wife, they are named in this lawsuit.
And the wife?
Yes, and his wife.
He's 85. They
are accused of sexual assault by several of their housekeepers.
He and his wife?
Yes, they're both been named in that lawsuit. Some of the incidents date back to 2012, and they are seeking a total of $50 million in damages. So 4 unnamed women, 4 of those housekeepers, worked at Robinson's Chatsworth home. So yeah, they're both being accused of sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment. Jane Doe 1 worked for them for about a year, 2023, 2024. Jane Doe 2 worked for them from 2014 to 2020. Jane Doe 3 worked for them from 2012 to 2024, so that's a long period of time. And then Jane Doe 4 was employed the longest, having been their housekeeper from 2006 to 2024. So these women, 2 of them at least, have been around for quite some time. There's a lot of information there in that lawsuit, but it's just crazy.
I want to ask a question that I think a lot of people would have but I recognize that it falls into all the stereotypes that exist when you start talking about sexual assault cases. I'm acknowledging that. A lot of times people say they feel trapped because of the money and the status and that kind of thing, so they don't come forward. I wonder if that applies. Like, how much money could be changing hands as a housekeeper for you to stay in an environment where you're being assaulted for 20 years?
I don't know. I mean, it says here they worked 60 hours a week, never got paid overtime. They were dealing with all of this stuff. I mean, they maybe they're not from here, or
I mean, obviously, if the allegations are true, that is serious, and you're gonna have to deal with some serious consequences.
Yeah.
But I think that those are the types of questions and comments that come up.
And I also think the Me Too movement perhaps
Encourage
helps
people to come forward.
As people come forward, as more people step forward and say something, that helps others to come forward who might otherwise be silent.
It gives people strength. And I think you're seeing, that's one of the things you're seeing with the Diddy case. It goes from 1 to 10 to 30. Like, people feel like, okay, now that someone has stepped out, I'm not alone.
Right. Yeah.
We shall see, but that's sad.
You know, you have all these circumstances. They could have children, they needed to provide for, and losing their job. Smokey Robinson, maybe he's big enough where he could have X'd them out and blackballed them. But yeah, of course, all this hoopla.
We'll continue to follow it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been
Kim's Corner.
Oh, that was the
right.
good one.
She hit that one.
Okay.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, guys, it is a wrap for us. All the things that we have been talking about throughout the show, we've got more of it for you coming up on the Fox 29 News at 5. So thanks for watching Behind the News. We appreciate you. Back same time tomorrow, and the news at 5.
We have to get right to breaking news now at 5. A Philadelphia police officer shot while trying to break up a fight. We're told it happened outside Overbrook High School right around dismissal time. It is a busy day today. This is the Fox 29 News at 5. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Dawn Timoney. Sources telling us that police officer is in their rookie year. Our crews are at the scene at the hospital where the officer was rushed for treatment. So we'll start with Chris O'Connell. And Chris, has there been an arrest yet?
We do know there was someone in custody, Dawn. More on that in a second. But first of all, that 19th District Philadelphia police officer is at Presbyterian Hospital. He is in critical but stable condition. Our colleague Steve Keeley will have more on that from the hospital in just a little bit. But this all started as a shooting as kids right outside of Overbrook High School were getting out of school for the day. Take a look behind me here on Lancaster, or on 59th Street here, 59th and Oxford. All started around 2:40 when police responded to a fight near the corner of 59th and Oxford. We're about to show you, Fox 29 was provided eyewitness video of this shooting, where we're not going to hear the audio, but you do hear the gunshots and the chaos. Take a look at some of this video. You hear a single gunshot and chaos as students and others scramble away. Police were right there, actually took one person into custody. We are not sure how that person was involved, if there were charges. Now, all of this happening right outside of Overbrook High School on a sunny spring day, 2:40 in the afternoon. This is just when kids were getting out of school. Our sources telling us Philadelphia's school superintendent Tony Watlington is also on the scene. We actually saw him just a little while ago here on the scene. We spoke with a number of eyewitnesses, including an 18-year-old who was right in the middle of it.
It was started off as a girl fight, but the girls was big as I'm gonna keep it being, it was big. And they was trying to fight the other little girl, but she was little.
Were the two girls from the high school?
No, they came up to this joint.
There you go.
No, two girls was from here, but the other joints, they came up here. I ain't gonna lie, they was big as I don't know what school they go to, but
So there you hear some eyewitness accounts of this. We are still trying to sort it out. We have not heard any official notification from Philadelphia police, but you can see it is still a very active scene. Crime scene investigators, high-level Philadelphia police brass on scene. Once again, we do know at least one person was taken into custody, one officer of the 19th District. We understand he's a younger officer at Presbyterian Hospital right now after a shooting right outside of Overbrook High School here in West Philadelphia. Guys?
Chris, a concerning scene right outside the high school there. We did also hear from the school district of Philadelphia, who said none of their students were involved in the shooting part of what happened today. We want to get straight to Steve Keeley right now. He's live at Penn Presbyterian, where fellow officers and city leaders have been gathering for a couple hours now. What have you learned, Steve?
Well, you can see there are over 100 law enforcement officers here, and it looks like when I'm looking back at the door, I'm trying to see if that's the back of the mayor right there getting briefed. But this is where we usually get the updates, not at the scene, but where all the officials are. And the number one update they always want to give us is how this wounded officer is doing. And we can just tell you from based on 30 years of experience of doing this, that they couldn't be in better hands, because the folks and the emergency rooms of Penn Presbyterian and at Temple Hospital have saved not just hundreds but thousands of lives when you talk to the folks who brought severely wounded people in here. And so they are expert at treating gunshot wounds and everything that goes along with that, stopping the bleeding, etc. And that fact that these officers don't look somber but actually look in as good mood as you could be